What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Semi Stories. Am I the a-hole for asking my guests to change clothes when they come into my house? I'm 20 male and I live alone. I'm a very neat person. My mother kept our house pristine growing up and I helped her for as long as I can remember. I recently moved into my own place and something that I started thinking about was how many germs from the outside we track into our houses. I always change out of my clothes as soon as I get home, but whenever I have guests over, they don't. And I have no idea where they've been or what their clothes have been exposed to. So about a month ago I bought a bunch of those clear disposable raincoats and I started telling people who I invited over that they could bring a change of fresh clothes to change into, or wear one of the coats before they sit down on my furniture. I also offered to watch the clothes that they change out of, if they want to. My girlfriend doesn't have a problem with this and started just leaving clothes at my place. My mom and my little sister have also been okay with this new rule. But I invited a friend over yesterday. I told them about the clothes thing before they came, and when they were surprised that I actually enforced it, they said, "You've gotta be joshing me." I told them, "No, I'm serious," and then they left. And they haven't been answering my messages either. I was talking to my mom about it today and she said it was pretty excessive and unreasonable to expect everybody to do. I disagree, but I'm kind of double guessing myself. Am I in the wrong here? Yes, I do think OP is definitely in the wrong here. Now, I'm not saying you can't expect people to enter your house clean and tidy. Personally, I do however think that there's a massive difference between taking your shoes off at the entrance or having to undress entirely just to sit on the couch. Now, I think that OP does have a problem being a germaphobe and that he should seek some professional help like therapy just to get over this. But that's just one man's opinion. Am I the a-hole for telling my nephew that his birthday present was sold behind his back? I am unmarried and do not have children, so I don't understand this situation from a parent's standpoint. I have a niece, Kay, 21, and a nephew, Joe, who's 16. My sister and her husband have spent the last few years, since the pandemic started, trying to get Kay sorted. By that, I mean that she has a lot of unexplained ailments. They've been seeing specialists, chiropractors, acupuncture, etc. To this day, I'm still not entirely sure what is wrong. Kay posts on social media a lot about feeling fatigued and having migraines, weakness, and other symptoms along with her various appointments. Personally, I worry this is being driven by attention because it has become her entire personality. I try to help Kay whenever I can. I've taken her to a few appointments because she doesn't drive. But I've tried to be present mostly for Joe, who is overshadowed by all of this. Now, Joe is a very simple young man and doesn't ask for much, but I can tell he wants some attention. He makes this known by pushing himself into sports, getting the best grades, getting a job, and trying to be as independent as possible. He's 16, but he acts 20. It kind of sucks to watch. For his birthday, I bought him 2 tickets to a football game and transferred them to my sister, so that she or her husband could take him. I told them that if they absolutely couldn't, then I would, but they accepted the tickets. Fast forward a couple of weeks later and I see a post from my sister selling 2 football game tickets and they were very quickly bought. I confronted her and said those tickets were for Joe. Her response was that they needed help recovering new allergy testing for Kay, and that is what the money was used for. I decided to take Joe to lunch yesterday and asked him how he's really doing. He was honest and said he doesn't feel like an equal member of his family, and I told him that I see it too. I asked him why he agreed to sell his birthday tickets and learned that he never did and never even knew anything about them. I proceeded to tell him the sequence of events. He was quiet for a bit and then sighed and accepted it. To my surprise, he must have said something to his parents because they called me for a conversation, accusing me of being an a-hole and saying I hurt Joe's feelings and that he was better off not knowing. I disagree wholeheartedly, but I am open to other perspectives. Am I the a-hole? And yes, I am trying to buy new tickets for Joe. OP then posted the following update. I'll try to respond to people as I can. I spoke with Joe individually today. I'm not surprised, but he said he confronted them because he wanted them to give the money back to me. As usual, the kid is thinking of others. While I don't want to be accused of trying to turn him against his parents, I do want to follow his lead in regards to him potentially staying with me. That said, I'm going to make more of an effort to spend more time with him. As far as Kay is concerned, I know her health issues are very real and I want nothing more than for her to feel well. However, she has been behaving manipulatively towards her parents, grandparents, myself, and Joe for a while now. Again, I worry that how she is dealing with her ailments is unhealthy for her and the family. We all support her and do whatever we can to support her and help her to be well. Hey, I think OP is 100% not the a-hole for exposing this injustice. In a situation like this, however, no one can truly be blamed. Yes, I think the parents should have handled the situation better and not take stuff from Joe without asking. But I also feel for them considering the endless tunnel that is Kay's health situation and probably pushing them to desperation like this. OP is being an amazing person by trying to take care of his nephew, and now that he knows what is going on, he might be more of a parental figure for him and giving the attention that he truly needs. Now I leave the question to you guys. Do you think OP was right for telling another person's child what his parents were doing? Be sure to let me know down in the comments. In this next story, OP is wondering if she is the a-hole for ruining her aunt's wedding by fainting at it. I, 21 female, attended my aunt's wedding a few weeks ago. I was not part of the wedding, just a guest, which I was fine with. Before the wedding, everyone was advised to drink lots of water and eat beforehand because it was going to be extremely hot that day. The wedding started around 5 PM. I had absolutely nothing to eat or drink up until then, except maybe a granola bar, because I was extremely busy that day. So when it was time for the wedding, I was already tired and hungry. About 30 minutes into the wedding, which was at a church by the way, I was feeling uneasy and lightheaded, so I excused myself to go to the washroom. As I was walking, I got that feeling like I was about to collapse. The next thing I remember was coming to and seeing lots of people surrounding me, including the bride and groom. Apparently, when I fainted, I fell onto the photographer who was crouched down near me. Not only that, but he dropped the camera lens and it broke. To be honest, I don't even remember seeing the photographer, but I may have been too dizzy or something to have seen him. The wedding was a bit of a cheaper one, so the photographer was a family friend of the groom's who only had one camera with him. The bride was just in tears that she won't have any good pictures from her wedding. The photographer insisted that he could drive home and grab a different one, but it would take too long. The bride was indeed mad at me, but I feel it was a bit harsh as it was extremely embarrassing for me already. Fainting never even crossed my mind as something that would happen at all. They did get pictures, but they were on cell phones. Yeah, I'm not gonna beat around the bush. I think you're kind of the a-hole. It's a delicate situation because of course you couldn't do anything about fainting, but I believe that you induced the fainting by not eating or drinking at all, even though they specifically said you should have. I also think that OP was very mean by mentioning there was a cheaper wedding so the photographer wasn't as professional and he only had one camera. It adds nothing aside from just making yourself feel better for fainting. Am I the a-hole for not letting my young daughters fly on a private plane? My youngest daughter recently had her birthday and turned 11 years old. As a birthday gift, my brother and his partner wanted to fly the girls to Alpine, Wyoming for hiking and to play in the river. They own their own small little plane. My brother's husband was a marine pilot and flying is now his hobby. The trip is a little less than an hour by plane, so this would be a day trip for them. The problem is, I just don't trust this plane. It's so small, only 5 people fit in it, and that includes the pilot. That means either myself or my husband could go, and my husband has been trying to persuade me since he loves planes, and he's telling me how safe it is. I think he just wants to go as a treat to himself, and he told me I just don't want to let him go because I'm controlling. We got into an argument over it and he's very upset that I won't even consider it. Does that make me an a-hole? To be worried about this? OP proceeded to post the following edit. To add, the girls have no idea this was offered. My brother and brother-in-law brought up the idea with me and my husband and I immediately told them absolutely not. I honestly do not care how much training he has. There's not enough training in the world where I trust my girls to get off the ground in that plane. Besides, the girls have asked to go up before and I've always said no, so I don't know why my brother-in-law would think now would be different. At least though, they didn't go behind my back and promise this to the girls first. I think I have to say that OP is the a-hole, and it's not because she worries, but because her worry will keep them from experiencing a beautiful moment in their lives. I mean, worrying is part of being a parent, not wanting to let go, but thinking about it rationally, the dad would go with, and it's an experienced pilot anyhow. I think OP has a right to be scared for her kids, but shouldn't keep them from experiencing life to the fullest, especially in a situation like this. If you keep them locked in and never let them have fun, they'll eventually resent you for it. What do you guys think? Be sure to let me know down in the comments. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you next time. See ya!